There's a lot of expectations going to this tournament, but I think the biggest focus right now is probably still on Team USA. And I know there has been a lot of dropouts in the last 2 months leading up to September. So what do you make of this?
I think there's several reasons with the United States team why you haven't seen the kind of star power that I think people have become accustomed to with the USA team in recent years, international. Number one, because we're 1 year away from the Olympics. And for a lot of other countries, the World Cup, formerly the World Championships, carried as much, if not even more at times, prestige than even the Olympics did. But in the United States, the Olympics are held in much higher regard. So I think you have a group of players elite players, like say the LeBron James, the Anthony Davises, the James Hardens, who may very well play in the Olympics next year, who didn't want to play this year and do it in back-to-back years. And then the other factor is that because the tournament is late in the summer and it's right before the beginning of NBA training camp, players were looking at a very long time commitment, over 30 days, with very little break time between the end of the FIBA tournament and the beginning of training camp. And a third factor, and I talked to CJ McCollum about this, players who are that second-tier star who are not going to make the Olympic team next year thought by playing this year, it wasn't going to help their chances of getting on the Olympic team next year. And they thought no matter what I do, if Kyrie Irving and LeBron and that elite group wants to play next year, they're going to be on the team. I won't have a chance, so I'm not going to commit this summer. And now you have a team that still has very good talent on it, better than the rest of the world because the talent pool is so deep in the United States, but not the star-studded cast they're used to. And an American team, that is going to have to fight to win this tournament. Listen, they're still going to be the favorites. It's very rare that there's any NBA team in international competition that people still aren't going to expect to win. But you have a lot of players who haven't played much, if any, FIBA basketball. It is a very different style of basketball, 40-minute games. A hot shooting team can knock you out. I think, it's a team that doesn't have the cohesion, the time spent together that many of the teams they're competing against do. And that's where, you're going to see teams like Serbia, Spain, others be able to kind of close the gap on the American team because they've been playing together. They have continuity. They have a system. And those are all things that the U.S. will be up against in a tournament where anything can happen.
Let's talk about international contenders. There's teams like Spain, Serbia, Australia, Brazil. They're still major competitors in this tournament. What are some things or some players you will be watching from them, these teams?
Well, I think, especially Serbia, they have all the ingredients for a team that could win a gold medal. They have a star, NBA star player in Nikola Jokic, and they've got shooting all over the court. They've got cohesion. They've been together, and they've got great coaching. Spain's another team, still having, a Marc Gasol playing for you, who has been, a veteran of a lot of great international basketball winning. This Spanish national team over a very long period has been, one of the rivals to the U.S. team. In Australia, very tough-minded. They've got some NBA players. They won't have Ben Simmons, who pulled out. Joe Ingles of the Jazz is certainly a player with a lot of FIBA experience, who will be an impact player for them on both ends of the court in that tournament. And I just think that teams, especially in this format, who can shoot the ball, who share the ball, and have been together, they have. Those are the teams that are going to be medal contenders and have enough talent to be able to match up with the athleticism, the basketball IQ of the American team.
And all these years you have been following international basketball. What are some fun memories you have from the events or tournaments you have been to?
Well, starting with one with Yao Ming, opening night of the basketball tournament in Beijing, watching Yao Ming, who was very injured at that time, literally dragging what had been a broken leg up and down the court to be on the court with his teammates, against LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, watching him make the first shot from about 18, 19 feet and listening to the noise, the emotion of that. That was a special moment to be a part of. Watching, I think one of my favorite basketball teams I've ever covered, watched the Argentina teams that were led by Manu Ginobili, several other NBA players people Luis Scola, Nocioni, that team in 2004 that won a gold medal, really remarkable for the history of basketball in that country, and watching Ginobili on that global stage dominate in that tournament. It was the perfect year to knock the Americans off. And I think that Argentina team that knocked the U.S. off in that tournament and went on to win the gold medal really, I think that was the beginning of changes in the USA basketball program that led to the USA becoming dominant again on the world stage. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.